The New York Post came out with an article yesterday. Well, let me just read you the headline. Minnesota school shooter's furry girlfriend ID'd after killer described past relationship as the root of my suffering. Deranged transgender Minnesota shooter Robin Westman had recently dumped his longtime girlfriend, raging about her blue hair and her pronouns and complaining about not being able to murder her because it would really F up his plans to massacre kids. Listen, I'm transgender. I'm not the most mentally stable human alive. I thought I was born in the wrong body at one time. And if we're real, no human being walks away from life without tweaking reality through troubled times. There should be a limit at which we use regulations to determine who is allowed to medically transition, which is, in all intents and purposes, well, when you remove the social stigma, just cosmetic surgery. It should be no surprise that Westman's girlfriend considered herself a furry, which is a sexual fetish about being aroused as being seen as an animal in sexual situations. Westman, in my opinion, probably suffered from autogynephilia, which is the sexual arousal of being seen as a female sexual object. I want you to imagine that a man walks into a doctor's office crying that he's born in the wrong body, and if he's given massive doses of estrogen, it will align his brain. If not, he's going to commit suicide. Then he goes into a gigantic dissertation about how he's been wronged at birth and wronged in society, about how his brain is mysteriously been transformed, and how he has been diagnosed as a psychopathic, malignant narcissist, and he's in need of massive amounts of estrogen. In fact, he needs 4 times the amount of estrogen of a female normal body that produces estrogen, because he's got to take over that massive amount of testosterone that he is producing. All while ensuring now a psychopath, malignant narcissist with a healthy range of testosterone on top of 4 times the amount of estrogen of a woman, while being affirmed that he's been wronged his whole life. And not only is he handed a prescription on that day, he's also handed a referral to a cosmetic surgery to have a breast augmentation, all on the expense of the government, because he's unable to hold a job. Now, fast forward, and you should not be surprised of the influx of transgender shooters. Now, I'm not saying that all transgender people are like that, but there are no regulations. In fact, today, right now, people with Down syndrome are being pushed through. What do I say about that? Well, the more important thing is, what do you have to say about that? There's a difference between bigotry and there's a difference between stupidity. Where are we lying on this situation? How many more transgender shooters do we have to have? How many more crazy situations do we have to have until somebody stands up and says, hey, listen, we have regulations for cosmetic surgery. We need regulations for transgender health, because what is it? It's all cosmetic surgery.